What's up, YouTube family and Browns fans everywhere? This is Cleveland football, and I'm your host, Terrence Hudson. All right. Feels good to be back. Hope everybody's doing all right out there. We in the dead of winter, late February, but we know this is combine time. On-field activities, for combine starts tomorrow or whenever Thursday, 27th, or whenever you watch. So be interested to see that. But the combine, you run the 40, you lift the weights, you do the agility drills, all these things. But, wait to see, how do these attributes and these measurables translate to actual football, being on the field, running, blocking, tackling, catching, throwing. That's what I want to see. You can learn some things, but I try not to put too much stock into the combine. But hey, we'll talk about that after it happened. But what I really want to talk about is this Tony Grossi Baker Mayfield thing. But really, this is a Tony Grossi thing. We saw that ESPN Cleveland has suspended its radio personality and columnist Tony Grossi based on derogatory comments that he made about Baker Mayfield. It's really just one. He was on his radio show and it was going to break, and I guess he didn't know that the mic was still on. He and the co-host didn't know the mic was still on, and they were discussing quarterbacks, and they were talking about quarterbacks that the Browns has missed out on in the last couple years. And they mentioned Joe Burrow, Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, and then you could hear Grossi saying, and who do we get? A bleeping midget. That word could be offensive to, people may find it offensive. And, the proper term is little person or little people. But, that's what he said. He said what he said. But he has apologized. He has come out and made an apology. ESPN came out and made a statement, that this won't be tolerated, I'm paraphrasing, thus and such. But they didn't fire him. He's just been suspended. And I think because he apologized, he showed some, that he was sincere and contrite. He's suspended indefinitely. How long is indefinitely? It could be months, it could be weeks, it could be months. It's a long way to football season. So I imagine they'll bring him back sometime between now and the start of the season. It could be a few months, let things die down a little bit. And then two, I think they think about ratings too, because, Grossi and Mayfield has had some spats in the past. When Mayfield was coming out in the draft, Grossi wrote, some not so nice things about him, called him a prima donna or whatnot. And then they would also go back and forth during the season, But I kind of think these guys look forward to that and kind of like that, having that rivalry or whatnot. But it'll make for good ratings and good TV when the season start back. So I don't think ESPN is going to fire, Grossi behind those comments. Looking at it, if I'm Baker, I don't say anything. What I need to say anything. I'll let my ability show on the field. And two, I think Baker feeds off things like this. I think he feeds off of criticism. At least that's the way I viewed him coming out, being an underdog, walk on again, and winning the Heisman Trophy and everything that he had to do and battle with at his height. To me, height, when you're talking about skill positions, quarterback, especially running back, I used to want my running backs to be shorter. You're a smaller target. If you quick, care what size you are, if can't nobody tackle you. Quarterback, same thing. You got guys, Drew Brees, he's 6 feet tall, gonna be a Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champ. Russell Wilson will be a Hall of Famer. 5'11", shortest quarterback to ever win the Super Bowl. So Doug Flutie, Hall of Famer. Michael Vick, Kyler Murray, burning it up at 5'10". Then you go way back, Fran Tarkenton, Sonny Jurgensen. That was 5'11". These Hall of Famers. Height, if you can ball, you can ball. You ball, you can ball. I mean, I grew up, youngest 8 children. On my mom's side, youngest of 8 children. Mother had 6 boys, 2 girls. I look at my brothers, and my siblings. Look at my siblings. I ended up being the tallest in my family. Just 6 feet, a little bit over, but with that, I always tell people that I'm not the best athlete, in the family. I wasn't the best athlete, and I was, all-state track, all-state football, and played Division I football, but I always tell people I wasn't the best athlete in my family. My brother Ant was dunking in the 8th grade, and he was only 5'3", maybe 5'4", had hops, Their sport was baseball. Boom, hit it out the park, can pitch, everything. They did it all. My brother Eric, gymnastics, cold. Gymnastics, basketball, football. I mean, they was cold. My brother Zach, he's probably the tallest. He 5'8", 5'9". His claim to fame is he was Barry Sanders before Barry Sanders was Barry Sanders. He a little bit older, but I've seen him hoop, can ball, can hoop. Was dunking too. And they 5'3", 5'4", 5'8", So I tell you, I wasn't the best athlete. These guys, I just had an opportunity. I just had a chance. I had a chance to showcase, my talents and skills where, life circumstances, they didn't. And then, my wife, she's a psychologist, and she's diagnosed me with something called body dysmorphia. She said, you don't know your size. You believe you're smaller than what you really are. And probably because you grew up around people who were smaller than you or shorter than you, so you believe you're small too. And so it's like she called me Elf from the movie Elf with what's his name, Will Ferrell. Yeah. So don't be hating. That's the moral, man. Don't be hating on the smaller guys. It don't matter size, don't matter bake. Don't worry about that. Just go out and do your thing, man. I didn't forget about Greg Robinson. Saw that came out last week. I just couldn't get to it, man. And you know what? He wasn't even gonna be a Brown next year, from my understanding. He was gonna be let go. He wasn't gonna even be a Brown, but hey, say Brown's offensive lineman because technically, I guess he's still he's still with Brown, and wasn't even gonna be a Brown. But hey, he might be wearing orange, and it ain't funny, He looking at 20 years, man, for doing something that guys are doing legally all over the country. Folks selling it legally all over the country. But hey, when you don't go through the proper channels, you expose yourself, open yourself up. So it's unfortunate. Hopefully, he could with a positive outcome out of this situation. But yeah, I wanted to get to that. But hey, we can see what's happening at the Combine tomorrow, and then in the rest of the week, and then go from there. But hey, if you like, hit the like button. Be sure to comment, be sure to share, and be sure to subscribe.